Hello, my name is Darren Chang and I'm here to review a photo backpack made by Mindshift. Mindshift is a company that is connected to Think Tank. I think Think Tank is the parent company to Mindshift. And this is called the Mindshift Horizon. It's one of their 180 series, and you'll understand what I mean by the 180 series in just a moment. This is a 30-liter pack, if I'm not mistaken. Let me just be sure. 34-liter pack. So it's actually kind of an ideal size, from my perspective, for a travel backpack. Say you're going to be going on a hike, or you're going to be traveling through a city. This is sort of the perfect size. It allows you to contain a pretty good-sized kit, maybe 2 bodies and a couple of lenses, or maybe 1 body and 3 lenses. And it also allows you to pack your travel essentials in the upper part of the backpack. Now, what you're going to see with this Mindshift Horizon is that it solves a huge problem with backpacks. We all know that when it comes to using backpacks, it is by far the most comfortable way to carry a lot of your photo gear. It's slung on both shoulders, it's centered over your back, you can carry a lot of equipment and it doesn't feel too heavy. So the backpack as a way to carry your camera gear is really the ideal situation. Much better in my mind than using a messenger bag style. However, one of the big issues you have with a backpack is that it's kind of a pain to access your equipment. And in fact, there are many times where if you're wearing a backpack on your back and you see an image that you want to take, then you realize, oh shoot, I have to take off my backpack, unzip it, find the equipment, take the picture, put the equipment back, throw my backpack onto my back again, and then carry on. In fact, sometimes it's such a headache, and I hate to admit this, but it is certainly the case for me and probably the case for many of you. There have been many situations where I've seen an image and said, it's just not worth it to take off my backpack and go through this process. So I'm just going to skip the image and keep moving on. And so how does that differ from a messenger bag? Well, obviously, if you have a messenger bag style, you have it on your back, you swing it around to the front, you open up the messenger bag, take the picture, throw it back in, swing it around to the back. You never have to take off the messenger bag in the process of taking the photo. Of course, the disadvantage of a messenger bag is that they're not nearly as comfortable to carry gear, even when it's a light amount of gear. So if you could combine the two things into one, wouldn't that be brilliant? And in fact, that's exactly what Mindshift has done. So let's take a look at the #1 feature associated with this bag so you can understand what it is that separates this Mindshift 180 from other backpacks that typically are a headache to deal with, headache to use when you're actually in the process of wanting to stop and take a photo. So here I have the backpack, it's on me. Now, in this case, I don't have it loaded up with anything on purpose because in a moment I'm going to show you around the backpack. But it's still, you'll see that I'll be able to show you the main feature of this backpack, which makes it so unique. And the one major thing that you'll notice here is that it's got a real suspension system in that it has the adjustable shoulder straps, has a sternum strap. It doesn't just have a waist belt here, it has a full-size legitimate hip belt to be able to take the weight of the pack, much like a backpacker's backpack would. And in a moment I'll show you the actual back and how it has air channels to allow for easy flow of air so you don't get the sweaty back issue. So here's the big thing. The issue here is that, again, if I wanted to take a photograph, under normal circumstances, I'd have to do this business, right? Take off the bag, put it down somewhere that's nice and stable, unzip the main compartment of my bag, reach in, grab out my camera, take the picture, etc. A bit of a headache to have to take off your backpack, and also there's some situations where you just can't put your backpack down very easily, or it's going to be a real headache for the people who are around you if you stop to take off your backpack. So what does Mindshift do? Well, here we have the situation. I'm wearing my backpack and I suddenly see an image I want to take. Notice here on this side of the pack, there's a little gray clip here that you push down with your thumb. And when you do that, you'll see that a door of sorts opens up. It swings open like so. And there's a handle right here that's behind this opening that I just created here. You can very easily grab this, even with the waist belt relatively cinched tight. You grab this thing and it rotates around to your front. That's the 180-degree thing that can happen, right? It goes from the back all the way to the front. So now what you have is this area here, this garage is essentially empty as a result because you've just pulled out this fanny pack-like thing. And you just leave this door open. Don't need to shut it down. And then you can unzip the lid of this, and notice also too that this lid opens away from you, which is really huge. If you've seen other packs that are like this, similar to this, when you open them up and they open towards you, then you have to hold the lid out of the way as you fiddle around to try to find your gear, which is an enormous headache. So now I'd be able to take out my camera, take a picture, put it back in, zip it back up, swing this thing back around, and then slide that door shut, or just shut the door incredibly easily. It's magnetically latched so that you really just have to throw it shut and it's going to stay shut that way. It's very secure, however. You can't pull it off and have it open up without first pushing down in order to have it release. Okay, so it's a really brilliant design for this thing to have it look like a regular old pack, but function in many ways just like a messenger bag would function. All right, so let's take a look around this bag and see what it has to offer in terms of the internals. All right, so I want to show you around this bag. Here is the top compartment, topmost compartment. It's pretty generic up here. It does have a key clip area, but pretty much that's it. No real organization going on in here. And the zipper pulls on this thing are great, actually pretty beefy things. You can see they're larger here for opening up the main compartment of the bag. And inside the main compartment, you can see it's got a lot of volume here. There is a back wall here that has a mesh area, mesh pocket. You could actually hang a hydration bladder right from this Velcro hook if you needed to. Otherwise, it's a pretty big open space where you could put jackets, snack, first aid kit, etc. And notice that it actually goes to that depth there. It's sort of from between my two hands here. So it doesn't go all the way to the bottom of the bag because obviously the very bottom of the bag contains the area for your camera gear. So here we can see the shoulder straps, which have mesh backing to allow it to be a lot more breathable. And very importantly, along the back itself, we have some adjustments here that take the weight off your shoulders. Nice and breathable. We have the full hip belt, padded hip belt here that I discussed earlier, and pretty nice stout hardware, fully adjustable to your body size. And on the side here, you can see we have a compression strap, but what this hides behind here is a long vertical pocket. And this is where typically you would want to put your hydration bladder here, because you'll see there's an exit port for the tube that would come from your hydration bladder and then go along and hook to your shoulder strap and allow you easy access to water. And then if you don't want to have a hydration bladder, then go ahead and use this pocket right here. It fits a full-size Nalgene, not a problem. Go ahead and clip this back together here, the compression strap. And the top here, what you have is a setup for when you want to put a tripod, a large tripod on the front of your bag. Now, I'm not a big fan of this because it makes the bag feel like it's sort of cantilevered away from you, but it's there and it's available for you. So that would hold the top head of your tripod if you needed to. And then I'll talk about the bottom in a minute, but here you can see a nice open pocket, and you could, again, organize things inside this pocket. And I mean, I've put my iPad in here. You'll see later on in the video that I actually use that as an organizer pocket. And then below this, or actually I guess in the front of here, you're going to see you have a lot of lash-on straps you could attach things to. No problem, pretty stout. Right. So right here, this is where you have the bottom part of the area that would hold the legs of your tripod. So you'd stick a couple of the legs right into there. Then you'd sort of secure it with this strap. Doesn't have a Fastex buckle, so it's kind of a headache to use. And then the rest of the tripod would extend all the way up and hook onto that top area that I was referring to before. All right, and then let's take a look at the feature that I showed you earlier. I just unclipped the gray area. You can see I can
pull out the camera equipment bag. I'm going to clip this together because it keeps it together a little bit better. And one nice feature here is, as I yank this whole thing out, you'll see that there's actually a lanyard that holds this whole thing together. So you could never have this thing drop off a cliff. In other words, it locks it in there, but it's removable if you want to just have the fanny pack by itself without the rest of the backpack. You can see here the garage that I'm talking about. It slides right into there shockingly smoothly. It slides right in there. So let's take a closer look at this, the pack itself that holds the camera gear. I'm going to detach it for a moment just to make it a lot easier for you to see what's going on. What's most important here is that you can see it's not exactly symmetrical. It's a little bit skinnier on the area that slides into the garage itself. You can see how it's sort of trapezoidal in shape in that way. But it can be used as just a separate fanny pack if you want to get away with that. So as I said, it flips upwards and you can see the compartment in there that can hold your camera lens down, and I keep my iPhone in that little mesh pocket there. There is a slots on either side where you can put your lenses or batteries or whatever you need to put into that area. And the other thing you'll notice here is that on the side here we have straps that adjust the angle of the actual pack away from your body. That's really nice. It's a nice little touch, subtle touch, but an important thing. And it does have a handle on the top there, as you saw me grab it, in case you need to just sort of pick and run with the thing. So really stout, well done. I love this thing, and I think it really works very well for me.
So what you can see here, this is the Mindshift Horizon 180, and it will meet airline specifications. It's under 22 inches in height, and I don't remember exactly what the width and depth dimensions are, but certainly you can see that this is going to be compact enough to be able to fit in the overhead bin. And altogether it maybe weighs about 15 to 20 pounds. All right, so let's take a look and see what I have on here. First thing is, let's start off with this front panel here, the zippered panel. And in here, I keep one of these little griddets. These things are great, actually. If you, they come in all sorts of shapes and sizes, and they essentially have elasticize bands running across the entirety of this thing. It slides nicely right into this front panel. On this side, you can see here that I have my tripod. Now, it's very likely that if I'm traveling on the airplane, I'm not going to have my tripod here. I probably have this in my checked baggage. But you can see here that it's fairly easy to put a very compact, this is a really compact tripod on the side here. And it also, this large side area where you could put a water bladder. Instead I have a pair of headphones in this tin and some gum. Really underutilizing this large pocket here right now. In this top compartment here, I have absolutely nothing in here right now, but I would imagine that this would be a good place for me to put my boarding pass, maybe my, my sunglasses, maybe a quick snack, something like that. And then into the main compartment here, you can see here I have my raincoat, and I have the raincoat for the backpack. Okay, so that's gonna, if I get caught in a torrential downpour in London, I'll be able to throw that over the entire pack and keep everything nice and dry. I have my Instax SP1, and then you might be able to see this. I have here my water bladder in here, so normally this would be filled with water. There's a hook here, a Velcro hook, that allows you to be able to hang the water bladder down there. And notice here too that the tube for the water bladder comes up through a hole in the pack, so you don't have to leave a little bit of the zipper open. There's a hole already built into that. And then this will be able to swing down through this little band right here, so you have easy access to be able to drink water. Again, probably not something I'd need to bring with me if I'm going on an airplane. I'd probably prefer just to have a water bottle. But if I'm hiking, say, in and around England or wherever, then I'd certainly want to have this available to me because it's a lot easier to access your water in this way. Let's take a look and see what I have in my camera compartment here. Oh, keep in mind too that I would probably have my my iPad mini in this main section right here. Unfortunately, I think it's upstairs and I don't feel like going upstairs to get it. So that's why it didn't end up in the pack in this video. So here we have, again, this is the really nifty way of opening things. I push it down, swings open this garage door, and out slides the pack. And this is going to be what contains my camera equipment. And so let's take a look and see what I can contain inside this pack. It's not a huge container here, so keep that in mind, that you're not going to be able to fit a ton of equipment in here. It's really good for lightweight travel more than anything else. So in the top pocket here, I have my iPhone. Now this is really, it's nice to have the iPhone in this top pocket because if it starts ringing, I can swing it around and get access to my phone without taking out my backpack. So I have my iPhone in this Velcroed mesh pocket. I have my Fujifilm X-E1 with a 35mm lens attached to it. I have my wallet in this slip pocket. This slip pocket is actually designed for an iPad mini. So I just choose not to put my mini in here. It's easier for me to have access to a wallet there. I have a couple of extra batteries in this pouch, which was sitting in this area. So if this is where my camera was, I lift out my camera, and then in the area where the lens was sitting, I have this padded pocket for the extra batteries. If I flip open this side, I have my 56mm 1.2, and I have the shade inverted when it's stowed. Okay, so I always use shades, by the way. I never go anywhere without my lens shades. And then just below that is my flash. Okay, so this is the EF-X20 flash that fits nicely on top of that. My X-E1. It's really for a fill flash more than anything else. It really doesn't have enough power to do much more than just fill flash, but it still is a very functional, nice little compact flash. On the other side here, I have my 14mm f2.8, and I don't have to stow the, because there's enough room in here, I don't have to stow the lens hood in reverse, although if I wanted to, I certainly could. Not a problem there. And then in a little area that I've created off to the side there, I have my sunglasses, so I could switch out my sunglasses and my regular prescription glasses here as well. So there you have it. I'm able to fit all this stuff. In fact, let me sort of put this off to the side for a moment and just show you everything that I had in the backpack, minus my iPad. Oh, I didn't take out my grid. Sorry, naughty. So I don't have my iPad in here, or my boarding passes, or any of those little things, maybe snacks or whatever, but that would easily be able to fit into this backpack. All right, there you go. It's a nice pack, holds a lot of stuff.